Hey guys, my name is Lucy Noriega. I am the owner of Lucy Noriega Photography in South Georgia, and I am also a first-time mommy. I'm having my beautiful baby girl in February, and this whole channel is just about how I'm learning to balance my work life and my family life. So if that interests you, be sure to stick around. So for this video today, we are learning and talking about my biggest takeaways for 2024 and what I learned from my photography business. This is my biggest takeaway. Y'all listening, ready? Not every single photo shoot is gonna be your piece de resistance. What do I mean by this? It's not gonna be the one session you go home and just you dream about. Not every single session is gonna be like that. The majority hopefully are, but some sessions you're like, this isn't really my style, this isn't really my vibe. I did the best I could on these, but I don't love them. Like you don't feel that, oh my gosh, these are breathtaking feeling. And that's maybe because they're not your style, or maybe you had some issues when you were working on them. And it's not ever like the client's fault or anything like that, but it's just like sometimes they're just not gonna hit. But hopefully they'll hit for the client. But for you may look at them and be like, honestly, that wasn't my best work. I could have maybe done something different, or I couldn't have, and it's just not my favorite session. And so as a photographer, I think it's really important that we don't let that discourage us when it happens. I know I've gotten in my head a lot about it when I've done sessions that weren't really the color palette that, I appreciate, and it just kind of threw stuff off. And I was like, this really isn't my best work. Don't let that discourage you. Edit the photos as best as you can and move forward. Send them in and move forward. And I'm sure the client loves them. I'm sure they're not like, but don't let that discourage you or make you think you're less of a photographer than you really are. This is another thing I learned, and it's fake it till you make it with confidence, not skill level. What do I mean by that? I mean, I only shot with automatic my first 8 months into photography, and so I acted like I knew what I was doing, but I really didn't. Thankfully, I went ahead and switched over to manual, and now I'm not saying I'm a pro at it, but I do all my sessions with manual now. And what was super important is that I, did fake it with my confidence. I acted like I knew exactly what I was doing, but I also learned how to do it. And that's so important. So obviously when you're in front of clients, you don't want to be like,
oh, I don't know how to do manual. Can you show me?
No, don't do that, obviously. But you don't want to fake your skill set. You need to learn how to shoot if you want to be a photographer. So that's a big something I learned. And guys, this is like a photographer's kind of inside joke, but it's also so real. When you're going back and forth between those two photos and you just don't know which one to pick and you are like agonizing over it, guys, just pick one and delete the other. Oh, and I'm saying like they're almost identical. Pick one and delete the other, or just send both of them in. Who cares? For me, I'd so much rather my client get an extra photo, or they just never see that other photo at all, rather than me spend 30 minutes going back and forth and being like, oh my gosh. Because I guarantee your client is gonna see those two images and they're not gonna think, oh man, I wish she kept one where I was, tilted at a 15-degree angle a little bit more. No, they don't care about that. They just want their photos back. So that's definitely something I learned. Just move forward. It's so much better if you're just quick with your workflow rather than agonizing over little tiny things. This next thing I learned is organization leads to efficiency. I have one photographer friend, she's awesome. She started making a spreadsheet about all of her clients, all of their information, and all of the session information. And she had it locked down of like inquiries and book clients, and then, clients that you've already completed their galleries. It was amazing. I started doing that myself after I saw she started doing it, because I really only had my calendar that I was putting their information on. So having a spreadsheet and being organized is essential to having an efficient business. because we can't really rely just on our skill and just on our photos. You are running a business if you are a photographer, and so you need to plan and organize accordingly. We have like 5 jobs we do as photographers, and all of those jobs are very important. You know, we're social media managers, we're administrators, we're PR people, we're everything. So one is not more important than the other. So this is the last thing that I previously spoke about on another video, but I'm gonna touch base on it here again. I raised my prices, and this was something that I didn't necessarily agonize over, but I was a little scared that I was gonna lose, you know, clientele, and they weren't gonna think I was worth my prices anymore. But honestly, since then, I've gotten more clientele, I've gotten consistent clientele, and I've gotten returning clientele, which has been huge. So I would not sell yourself short. I would go ahead and raise your prices. I decided to do it because I actually wanted less sessions, you know, and make more money. Because I was pregnant, I didn't want to do like 3 sessions every single week again for only like, you know, $100 bucks per session. You're driving all around town and stuff. I was done with that. So I went ahead and adjusted my prices to what I felt like my skill set was worth, but also what was worth my time and what I was wanting to put into it. So that's something I did learn in 2024 that I'm implementing in 2025, just knowing my worth and then adjusting my prices based on it. Because I really want clients who see my work as an investment and something that they're excited in, not just, oh, I need someone cheap to take pictures of my family. It's a different mindset. All right, guys, well, that is all the things that I learned in 2024 and that I'm now kind of implementing in 2025, but also like my biggest takeaways. Let me know if this list was helpful, and I'd love to hear in the comments what your biggest takeaways were in the year of 2024, because it was such an eventful year. All right, guys, bless you. Catch you later.